and the gardens over here. And 52 years ago, when this building was donated to the community, some people in the community decided that horticulture was a very important part of this, of the premises here. And so over the years, many people have worked on the campus, and but particularly on the area that is over on the far edge of the building, and that is now the Grosse Pointe Garden Center, who arranges all the activities, horticultural, but also informational and so on in that area. We have a circular spot that is divided among all the garden clubs in the area, and there's a competition every year to see how each garden club can come up with the best garden with a certain criteria. And it's the garden center that really has promoted a lot of horticulture information in this area. So it's Robin Heller. It's Robin. Is the current president of the Garden Center. And would you like to say a few words? Sure.
Thank you, Marika. You've heard the history of the Veterans Garden, and as president of the Garden Center, which began with the formation of the Grounds and Gardens Committee for this particular building, which happened in 1951, I can only say what took us 55 years to create the Veterans Garden. It's such a fitting space to have to honor you and your loved ones. In some ways, I'm sorry that it took us so long, but in another, I'm so excited that we have it now. And I do want to give incredible credit to not only Marika and her committee, but to those who are no longer with us, who spawned the idea and really drove to have this at the Alger House. So thank you.
One of the driving forces behind this was Mary Northcutt, who was president of the Garden Center about 10 years ago. And she and Lynn Lutomsky had this aha moment. Oh, here's a beautiful area. We could make this into a veterans garden. Well, it's easier said than done. And so, but Mary was really behind it, and she gave us the first grant to establish this. And so we got $5,000 from Mary Northcutt, and that's what got us started. And then, as you heard from Mark Weber, we formulated our ideas, and then one year we just looked at this garden and said, we've got to have help, and irregardless of the economy, we've got to do it. So that's when we asked for the master gardeners to come on board and help us. So I'd like to introduce my committee, because the good thing is we have a wonderful group of very dedicated people. We meet once a month. We work in the garden. That is, they work harder than I do in the garden, because I used to, but I'm not doing quite as much as I used to. And it's hard work. And these are just very dedicated people. Now, each person in this committee has a particular task, and they're outstanding about what they're doing. So with that, I'd like to introduce Marion Presley. She is our vice president. Do you want to stand up? And then Adrian Gregory, who she is the one that is just a whiz on the computer, and she has created all the printed material that you're seeing today. And she's also in charge of the bricks that have been ordered and then have to be processed and all of that. So Avon does an absolutely wonderful job for that. And then Sarah keeps us on financially sound basis. She keeps very accurate accounts on what we do, and she has just been absolutely wonderful in having us understand where we are today and where we might want to go in the future. The thing is, right now, we're doing all of this with volunteer help. Someday, when we're all getting older and maybe a little more tired, we may have to pay people to do what we're doing now. And so we're looking at long-range plans at the present time. And in your brochure, you will find more information about the history and also what our plans might be. So, and then Ginny Brown gets the word out in the community, and you'll find it in the Grosse Pointe News, and you'll find it in other venues that Ginny takes care of. And Jean Azar, my friend from a long time ago, has been president of the Garden Center for a couple times, and she is in charge of the fundraising and keeping us on and providing us with a lot of wisdom that we need from time to time. And let's see. Then Joan Gossman is my vice chair at the present time, and Joan has agreed to take my place after this event, and I'm thrilled. And then we have our master gardener, Elaine Bush. Elaine did the most heroic job with her friend Debbie Graffius. Something that was beyond our expectation of what could be done with a hillside that is extremely dangerous and hard to work in. And but she took it upon herself to make 2 paths that are safe to go into, and to completely reorganize all the plant material that was there. Well, I'll let you tell the rest of the story.
Well, I was recently asked by someone, what on earth enticed you to take on this project, and what has led you to be involved for 9 years now? And my initial response, Robin, was, I'm stubborn. You can ask anyone on the committee and they will tell you that that certainly is the case. Back in August of 2009, they put out a call to Master Gardeners, and Debbie and Graffius and I did answer that call to look at a neglected hillside garden at the War Memorial. It was an unbelievable mess. You couldn't even recognize that there was a garden there. It was nothing but weeds and weed trees and dead shrubs, and it was just a mess. So we looked at it, and that night I did not sleep a week. I tossed and turned and tossed and turned. The excitement building as the evening hours went on. I could envision these spiky shrubs by that big wall out there sticking up with burgundy foliage, and I thought, oh, by this stacked stone thing, stacked stone wall, we could put all the perennials with their blooms, and oh, we could make a path right here on this spot, and we could put plants by the path that had a fragrance, so when you walked past them, you'd brush against them, and the fragrance would waft up into the air. I was so excited. I didn't sleep. I called Debbie the next morning. I said, Debbie, I didn't sleep all night. I'm so sorry. No, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get started. And so we did. But there was no money. There was no money, as we've all heard repeatedly. And so Debbie and I said, well, we'll do what we can do. So we started on Wednesdays. We worked for Mill Hurley, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Our day off was Wednesday. We spent every Wednesday, from March to November in the garden. We couldn't have done it without a lot of volunteer help, and a lot of donations. Brian Coulter, I don't think he made it tonight, he's the arborist for Grosse Pointe City and Grosse Pointe Park, and he allowed us to go down to the park. Neither one of us lived in the park. It was for park residents only. We would drive our cars down with trash cans and fill them with mulch and bring them back to the garden. So as we weeded a spot, we would mulch it. There were no plants. There was no plant material. What was there was in terrible shape. Debbie and I both worked for Mill Hurley. We all know her as the owner of a Southern Gardener. And she, whenever we do a garden renovation or divide plants, if there was anything left over, she'd let us bring it to the Veterans Garden. And Bob Liebold, Bob, stand up, Bob. Bless your heart. Bob worked for the War Memorial back in the day, and we couldn't have done it without him. We had bags of trash every Wednesday. Bob would haul it off for us. We'd call him, Bob, can you bring the chainsaw? Bob, we need a couple of stones from the carriage house. Can we go up and get them? Will you bring them down in your little trailer because they're heavy? Oh, Bob, we've got these stones left we don't need. Can you take them back up to the carriage house until next week? Bless you, sir, bless you. Then in 2012, 3 years after our initial endeavor, and every Wednesday, the garden was looking pretty good. And the Veterans Garden Committee was formed, and we put in the Veterans Garden Path that allowed us to have some funds for infrastructure and hardscape repairs. You can read all about those in your brochure. I don't need to go through 5 years of repairs with you, but trust me, everything from sprinkler systems to retaining walls, etc. It also allowed us to buy some plants. We've been just begging and borrowing whatever we could have, and it was a mishmash of things. And I had these visions because I lay awake. I do my best thinking between 2 and 4 a.m. So I had these visions of what I wanted for the garden. The garden itself is 50 by 60 feet, so that's 300 square feet. To date, we have 1,300 flower bulbs in that 300 square feet. Do the math. It's beautiful in the spring. And so we were also able to purchase, and we got a lot of those bulbs donated, by the way. Home Depot was great. Allen's donated a lot of flower bulbs, and we have bought some of the unusual things. But we were also able to buy the plant material that I've been dreaming about for all those years. And so now we have the purples melting into the swaths of orange and yellow, melting into the swaths of more purple and red, with punches of white here and there, just like exclamation points. It's really beautiful, and as the summer flowers fade, the muted tones of fall come into play. It's just gorgeous year-round, it really is. The Hillside Garden was dedicated to veterans 5 years ago. For me, these past 9 years that I've spent in the garden have been truly a labor of love. My great-great-great-grandfather, Israel Matherly, came to America from Scotland, served in the Revolutionary War. They settled in Kentucky. So I have family on both sides of the Civil War. But my grandfather served in World War I. My father-in-law paratrooped into St. Mary Glace on D-Day. My dad came ashore on Utah Beach. I have cousins that have served in Korea, Vietnam, and the Gulf Wars. My nephew is currently Air Force, and he's stationed in Japan. And my daughter-in-law and son are Air Force Reserve. My son deploys in 38 days. It'll be his 10th deployment. He just this year made major, so please keep him in your thoughts. I want to take this opportunity to thank the War Memorial, past and present, for all the help. Mark Weber used to come out on Wednesdays and bring us bottles of water, and they had lunch sent out to us one day, catered with tablecloths and the whole 9 yards. We're all gross and muddy and dirty and sweaty, and we're having lunch with the shelf with the white tablecloth. That was great. I'd like to thank the Veterans Garden Committee. Ladies, I don't say it often enough, but you are my angels, my garden angels as well. You've embraced my stubbornness, and you've always been supportive of all my ideas and plans for the garden. I'd like to thank all the donors. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to do the hardscape repairs that were so necessary for the garden to continue to prosper. and especially to all the veterans. You inspire me. The veterans of today, the ones that have gone before, Daddy, and the ones that will come next. Without all of you and your generous donations and all of your support, we wouldn't have been able to make this garden the beautiful, wonderful place it is today. Our Veterans Garden. Thank you, and God bless you.
You should have a little memorabilia of all the work you have put into this. Your own photo board.
Mariki, one comment. I hardly recognize you without your knee pads up. You're remarkable for what you
And
get
sweaty
day after
hair,
day.
too. I need to have sweaty hair. Thank you.
Takes your breath away.